Hey, welcome inside the FOX Weather ROWI Report. We are in college football week 13. We're high up there. I'm almost not going to be able to count this high as we continue to push on. This is a big week. On the FOX Weather stream, we've talked a lot about the extremes of how hot it's been, especially down south in SEC country. That is going to fall apart as we enter into the weekend. We do have some instability, some action. We'll dive into that. And then you look out on the West Coast, atmospheric river after atmospheric river, another wave comes through. All of that energy, though, keeps pushing to the east, and that means the East Coast is going to get in on the action. What I'm trying to tell you, we got some games that are going to be impacted by the weather. That's why we're doing the risk of weather impact report, right? The ROWI report. Let's get into what we are seeing down south. This is what we've seen all the way leading up to the weekend. Record high temperatures. Let me give you an example. Fort Smith, Arkansas, early in the week got to 89 degrees. That's the warmest November they've ever had on record. They've been keeping records since 1882. This is a big thing, right? So this is very warm this time of year. It's all because of that dominant high pressure dome across the Gulf. Now, this is Friday evening. Notice the low has moved in. L in weather terms talks about instability, active weather. You see that blue line that's streaking across the Lone Star State. That is a cold front. That dives underneath all that warm, humid air we were just talking about. The clashing of the air mass allows the sparks to fly. The sparks is lightning. And so we see 3 days in a row of severe weather in Texas. Here's the good news. As we enter the weekend, we're starting to look at a lower, maybe not severe weather, but widespread showers. So hopefully staying sub-severe. And this is ultimately how much rain we are expecting from Del Rio all the way up into the Midwest. Isolated spots, 3 to 5 inches of rain. Some spots could even get north of there. But what does this mean to you and your backyard and to your teams? Let's dive into those games that we got dialed up. First off, we got the Raging Cajuns out of Louisiana going out to Arkansas State. The Red Wolves. This feels kind of like a rivalry match, right? It's the Arklatex showdown. Look at the precipitation impacts. That's high, right? 7.8, high level. But remember, this is an average of all the different weather elements. So wind, very minimal. Temperature, extremely minimal. So when you take the overall average, it's right at 3. But again, rain in and of itself could have that impact overall. We're going to be tightening this up because that's right at that threshold of potentially medium. I say even if the wind doesn't pick up, even if the temperatures stay mild and warm, the rain will play a factor in this game because when you're looking at the teams here, this isn't like the top of college football. That's no shot at the Raging Cajun or the Red Wolves. It just means that there's a different type of impact when you're looking at a surface that's a little more slippery. Is the timing going to be impacted by that? Is the turnover going to really play a factor in this game? And so what we're looking at is that this is Thursday, and hopefully this stays. This is Jonesboro, Arkansas, sub-severe. As of right now, it does look like it will be sub-severe, but Thursday, we do have a severe threat. It looks like it'll be to the south and west of here in Texas predominantly, not in Arkansas at Centennial Bank Stadium. By the way, Jonesboro, Arkansas is the very extreme northeast portion of the natural state, so even further away and further removed from it. We go out to Ohio Stadium. We got the best team in the country, Ohio State, number 1, the Buckeyes, coming into our backyard. Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights. Well, I guess the Rutgers, they're going to their backyard, I should say, in Ohio. So looking at it here, this is one of those low-end opportunity games for weather. Doesn't look like it's going to be a big factor out of this. Ohio State's just trying to rack up another W, keep that momentum as they push on, getting closer and closer to the college football playoff, but not even just that. Looking at potentially their conference matchup, I believe, right? Let's bring in Mr. Dr. ROWI over here. Let's talk about this could be setting up big because Indiana is a real threat this year, and so they got to keep racking up the W's because, what, is it the Big Ten championship that's going to be on the line?
Yeah, Ohio State is – everyone is expecting them as a shoo-in for the playoff, but this is the game where they actually clinch it. If they win this game, even if they lose to Michigan and they lose the Big Ten championship, they will be in the playoffs. So from that there, this is exactly what they're looking for. Rutgers just trying to build the program up, make another bowl.
By the way, you mentioned Michigan. I know that's ahead. That's a big rivalry game. We're sending crews out there, by the way. So
yes, we are. GT's Ohio State, Michigan coming up. Fox Weather.
We'll be up to the big house.
Be hanging around, with Big Noon Kickoff, having a little bit of fun.
He's going to be there. So if you don't know who that is, that's the Dancing Weatherman. He is awesome. He's better than anything you see online. So get out to the game. Fox Sports is going to be there as well. So we're going to be out at the big house. But let's keep it in this week. Looking at Bridge. What is that? Bridge 4th? All right. Bridgeforth Stadium. This is in Harrisonburg, Virginia. This is Saturday. Again, rain looking like it could creep into this game, could become a factor. We're going to be watching that closely about the speed at which this moves in. As of right now, we had a low-end opportunity. We're into the mid-50s here. But when we look at these mid-Atlantic games, there are some games, Jared, that are going to be impacted. We bring up the overall weather pattern. I think we do have to bring up, too, that this is right ahead of Thanksgiving and travel. So for the weekend, you're going to be traveling to some of these games, and maybe you're going to be like, okay, that's going to start my holiday travel. And for the next week, what am I going to be doing? Here's what we're looking at for Saturday afternoon. You have the coastal areas, definitely Virginia, North Carolina. They're getting peppered with the showers through the afternoon. But it's the backside of this, relatively light wind, but I think enough in some areas where you could have some type of influence. If you're in a Saturday evening game, I don't think there's as much of an influence. Overall, it's a light rain that we have. I think this is big for you because I think you're going to be spending some time right in the Mid-Atlantic this weekend.
Yes, I am attending the Miami-Virginia Tech game, my second Miami game of the year.
Okay.
We did beat Notre Dame the first time, so I'm feeling pretty solid about this. We are looking at that precipitation impacted. This is key because Miami needs style points to get back into the top 10 because the ACC tiebreakers are not in Miami's favor. They may be tied for the best conference record, but just by the nature of how the midseason went, the loss to Louisville, the overtime loss to SMU, they need a lot of things to go their way to win the ACC. The better route is going to be winning and winning strongly because the underlying metrics are good, but rain is not great news for Miami. It's at Virginia Tech. They're energized. They've got James Franklin coming in.
Okay, I was just looking. I was looking that up. I was like, wait, is this confirmed?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. James Franklin is in. He's going to be the next head coach of the Hokies. I think it's a great fit for both parties.
Nice.
But Miami needs style points. Like it's not like they can eke out an ugly win and then look pretty solid. The rain is a bit of a concern. It's not like an overwhelming concern, which is why we're still at that low ROWI with that shower chance. That could definitely change and increase as we get a little bit closer to the game. But Miami wants us to be as clear and as nice and mild as possible. Like if you issue, like literally the back half of this forecast here is actually really nice.
Ideal.
It's all about, if there was going to be some rain and if it slows down, mucks up the game ever so slightly just to make it so that Miami wins by, 10 or 20 rather than the 30 to 40 that they probably need to win by to keep moving up in that college football playoff conversation.
Again, and just fairness, I got my niece that goes to Virginia Tech, so maybe I'm giving a little extra love.
I mean, I do love the Hokies.
Dude, I love the Hokies. And it's tough to play in Blacksburg, by the way. They got an awesome fan base. It is an iconic stadium to play at. I love it. If you've never been there, book a trip. It's such a cool spot of the country. And you're talking about getting up into the foothills, and that's another component. You look at the wind threshold, relatively light. It's all dependent on when this moves through. It's early in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little uptick because you get some of those ridge gusts coming off the Appalachian Range and coming down, descending into Blacksburg. A little enhancement. I think overall, as you had said, the second half looks like it's going to be cleared even by the second quarter. But if you stumble out of the gate, you keep the Hokies in it, they are a team that's notorious for upsets. It's like something growing up, watching in the 90s. Of course, you're watching Michael Vick and stuff, but they were dominant. But even without that, they always seem to have a way of hanging around and creating these upsets. The special teams, all that still lives on. The energy is there. And when you are at a home stadium like that and you get that and you can keep it in contention with a ranked team like this, that's what the Hokies are trying to establish. Yeah. Obviously, your Hurricanes, they're trying to come out, put together some drives, explosive. Oh, wow, he's already got it on. Yeah, by the way, Jared took off his shirt for this pod, so he could get this shirt on for you, America. So if you have only been listening and you haven't been watching, find us on a social media platform so you can see not only is it great mustache, but also the shirt that he's got as well. I like that. It looks like a throwback, dude. Is that old school?
It's a newer design, but it's based on like old school. It's an old school style.
Okay.
Like this line of, I'm a huge fan of this line of shirts, which they'll have to sponsor us if they want to mention.
Yeah, you got to sponsor us.
They know what they look like.
Nice. Hey, let's take it to some other spots that are going to be impacted real quick as we get back into the Houston, Texas, Saturday, 4 p.m. This is going to be a in-state rivalry, right? You got the Horned Frogs going against the Cougars. Precipitation impact, that's the next one. There's another one where you're looking at the timing of the rain, big influence, and there's enough of a wind and temperature impact along with it that now we're getting to that medium threshold. Whenever you're this close to the Gulf, you start worrying about the instability. Lightning can play a factor, and You and I have talked about this extensively. That leads to that delay and ultimately could be a deciding factor in home team's advantage, where you start thinking about the comfortability being there. In Houston, they're ranked, right? So the last thing they want to do is slip out of the rankings at the end of the season to an in-state rival like TCU.
Yeah, right now with the college football landscape, those teams especially in the Big 12, the ACC, and teams that are kind of like the social climbers, I'll call them, that are moving their way up.
Nice.
Like there's the Big Ten. The Big Ten networks talks with the private equity plan. There's fighting internally. There's going to be more shakeups and conference realignment. So these games and how you perform in them and how you can like frame your team standing like, oh, we had this great season. We're a program on the rise. This does matter in the long run. Like, Houston and TCU, they want to be building up their resume so that like when the next round of realignment comes, they're not left out without a dancer in the cold.
Hey, look, when we talk about high school football, Texas is obviously one of those states that's celebrated. Everybody goes in there to try to take it. You talk about what's happening in Austin, of course. They're able to pay a lot of people, but it's like these are all in-state schools that are fighting to keep the best of the best, try to keep them close to home. And to your point, maybe they live closer to Houston and they feel more comfortable being around family, but you got to show up because that's when it matters. And so if you look like you're handling business when it matters, then they're likely to stay close to home. But if you're losing these type of things and then it's like, oh, I don't know. All right, maybe I will go over to the University of Texas.
The check matters a little bit more nowadays.
Well, it does. It does. But we're talking about the caliber of player that maybe they're not going to get a check. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're talking about checks,
Steve,
the Longhorns are going to be throwing money no matter what.
These guys are getting checks here.
Everybody?
Yes, they're getting checks.
I don't know about
that. They both have large NIL budgets, both TCU
and no, I know they're going to be paying their top dogs. I'm talking about out of the entire state, not every 5-star, 4-star, 3-star recruits are going to be getting paid. And so it's like, hey, if you could become, a big pivotal role on the Cougars and instead of going and maybe sitting elsewhere for whatever amount of time, you got to show up in this because it's like, well, do I even want to be a pivotal role in the Cougars if they're going to be ranked or not? Or TCU. That's what I'm saying. It's like, to your point of if you want to earn those recruits that maybe could be lost to another school that could throw some money at them, but you could kind of put that thing like, hey, we're ranked and we're closer to home. You're going to be a big part of this. You're going to start right away. These are the games you got to win. Because if you don't and you end the season unranked, then that's a little tougher to sell as you head into the living room and you're talking to mom and dad and you're trying to recruit the kids out towards whichever school. By the way, we're just using Texas right now because that was the game. But even here, so we'll take out to the Delaware Blue Hens, Wake Forest Demon Deacons. We're going to be at
the Joe Davis Special.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This is going to be another one where there could be potential. Again, this is just like your UM game. It's all about the timing of this. I believe it's early in the game, right, where we start looking at those lingering showers that could play a factor.
Yeah, and this is something that could very easily be upgraded to a medium ROWI and slop up the game a bit. Wake Forest is this game actually matters more to the ACC as a whole, just to like help the conference out. This will have ramifications for not only Miami but Georgia Tech, Virginia, and the other teams that are fighting for that the final college football playoff spots. And Delaware is a team that, talking about the social climbers, like they just moved up from FCS to FBS. This would be a great statement win for the program if they were able to get it done. So it's a fair amount on the line here in the rain in the early part. Like we're thinking it's light enough, or at least the model's projecting it's light enough where it's not going to be a major disruptor in the game, but still something that can be adjusted as we go forward. And with that happening, that would muck up your offense a little bit more. Slightly worse for your passing game. A little bit, few more turnovers are probably would be expected. Those would be the things you would look at.
Yeah, so we'll be watching. We got a couple games here in college football where there's some all about timing. So we'll be doing a bonus episode later in the week. So thank you for joining us for this episode. Of course, we encourage you to always jump over to the Fox Weather stream. Tomorrow on Thursday, we do a Fox Weather tailgate. And a lot of times we play games and we have some fun. We got some good food out there.
What food are you going to be tortured with this week? Do you know yet, Steve?
I don't know yet, but we did last week some throwing, and I think that was a hit. So I think we're going to try to build off of that. I'm trying to pitch punch, pass, and kick competition. That's really tough to do in Manhattan. We don't have much space for that, but maybe we can make it happen. I'm also just trying to get some good food because I'm getting penalized. I'm chugging mustard. I'm eating peppers. Today, here at headquarters, I had a lovely roasted red pepper and Gouda soup. I mean, listen to this, America. I mean, this thing changed my life. It's so good. So I'm just trying to get these tailgate foods to step it up a little bit and no longer have a penalty. So The thing for me, Jared, is it's getting colder outside. I think these tailgates got to embrace soup a little bit more. I think that's the first sign of winter. Get some tailgate soup out there along with everything else. I don't know how you're feeling about that. You like what's your soup? What's your go-to?
I like a good black bean soup.
At a tailgate or just in general?
Just in general. Like,
right.
I mean, soup-wise, I mean.
Have you ever had a roasted red pepper and gouda soup?
I've never had a roasted red pepper and gouda soup. I'm on the list, on the text message list for the next time it comes around the office. So watch out, America.
This is so good. So much depth in this flavor of soup. We want to hear from you, by the way. What is your favorite tailgate food? What is the first sign of winter for you, as you're getting out? And let's have some fun. So thank you for listening to us. Friday, we'll probably have a bonus pod. And then before you know, it's the weekend and we're enjoying the games that we're talking about. So thanks for listening to us. Have a great and fun, whatever it is, Wednesday for you, or whenever you're listening to the pod. Be weather smart, and we'll see you on the next one.